I want to talk about what's everywhere. Everywhere you look, you see these things that you don't pay much attention to, and you wonder, some of us, me, wonder why they use these things, why they're everywhere, and why other things aren't there in their place, and why they insist on placing them everywhere. So as an early example, everywhere you look, you see the exit signs, right? E-X-I-T. Everywhere. You could be in a room where you see 10 of them and you think maybe it's necessary if you think so. But then you think because you're doing numbers and you're crunching them, you think maybe that means something else. So when you're looking at EXIT, E is the fifth letter, X is 24, E 5 and 24, that's 29, that's 11. I is 9, T is 20, but you don't like the 0, so it's 2. 9 and 2, that's 11, so you think exit is 11, 11. So when you think, oh, so every time you look at that, you see them everywhere, you think, oh, okay, there's more to it. It isn't just because we're like cattle, because on a fucking farm you don't see exit signs all over the place. Right? You just have an elder that walks over and opens the door and then shoves them or burns them or kicks them. Or you have a sheepdog that's handier than having these everywhere you go. So you think, is it really the insurance companies insisting that there's exit signs, that we are perpetually 2 years old, that we are just retarded? Or is there something more at play, like they really want us to know, to always note your exits? Like, right? I'm sure there's some irony there if you look a little harder, but I want to keep this shorter because I realize if I'm just talking about numbers today, no one gives a shit about anything, which is why I'm writing it, because you think that there's a little bit more, that E and X, 11, IT, 11, and that they're going to put it all over the place. So you think about the title of this little video will be Everywhere. What is it that's around us that's everywhere, that's ever present, that's ubiquitous, that's on and on and on. So you look at your three most convenient stores and you think, why do they name them what they do? You think 7-Eleven, 7 plus 11 is 18, and that's 666. You think, well, that's obvious, and it's not like they open at 7 and close at 11, so you think, okay, I don't know why they called it that. It's catchy, but like the exit sign, which I'm sure there is in the 7-Eleven because they're everywhere, just like the 7-Elevens, maybe there's more to it. So maybe the 7-Eleven means 666. And then you look at the little friends of 7-Eleven, you think Max Milk, Max, M-A-C-S, because maybe you're not from around here, but they still have them, M-A-C-S, 13, 1, 3, and 19. That's 36, so that's 36, that's 666. You think Max is just like 7-Eleven. And you think, geez, okay, that's weird, because they've had 7-Eleven and Max's for as long as I can remember. And then the third one, in case you're not from around here, they still have them is Becker's. And you think Becker's is a bigger word, obviously. And if you break it all down, as I have here, it adds up to 63. And you think 63, 63, 666. You think, oh. So 7-Eleven, Max, and Becker's are all about 3 6s. And you think, wow. That's weird, but at the same time, I'm weird, and this is just stupid. So if you're watching this, you're probably a little more bored than you want to admit. But in any case, that's kind of weird. So, right? And in all these places, you have exit signs. So the 11s are all over, the 666s. And what else is everywhere now? Walmart. See, Walmart? And W-A-L, because it is a little hyphenation here. Wall is the first 3 letters of Walton. And you think, normally, the rich people I know don't want to put their proud family name on some rotting shithole. So you think there's probably another reason for it. So let's do some investigating. W-A-L, 23, 1, 12, right? Oh, that's 36. You think, you mean that's 36 Mart. So that's 666 Mart. Wow, that's like whether you go to Becker's or Max or 7-Eleven or Walmart. That's so weird how the things that they want to make sure are everywhere, that are the last places standing, are all about 666, right? That is so weird, right? Or is it? Hmm? And then when you go into Walmart now, everywhere, because I'm talking about everywhere, because Walmarts are everywhere around the planet, then you have these little restaurants inside of them. You've probably seen it. They have these little golden arches, right? They're everywhere. They're full of exit signs, right? So when you go in, you think McDonald's. So just the name McDonald adds up to 66. You think, so when you're in Walmart and that's the 666 mark, you think there's probably a really good reason why they're in bed with McDonald, because it's 66. Okay. All right. Maybe there's a little bit more to it, and then you think, okay, so you've covered the kind of all the stores we know of that are everywhere. That are, if it's not one, it's the other. No matter where you look, for as far back as I can remember, it's hard to not kind of to see these things. And what else do you see when you're outside? A car, right? Right, a car, CAR, which adds up to 22, 3, 1, 18, 22, 11, 11. They're everywhere, right? It's just, so what's everywhere? 11s. They're driving around endlessly, looking for their exit, right? That might just be a big coincidence, but you think it's so convenient that even though the English language has been around for quite a while, this nice little tidy, small word was still available to represent something so common, right? Because you can't go anywhere or get anywhere without seeing these, right? And then you think, the most common car right now, the most sold car, is the Toyota. And Toyota adds up, if you don't count the zeros, 66. But if you do count the zeros as 15s, it adds up to 96. Wow, that's, so the most common car, or the most common 1111 that's running around, is 66 or 96, because I know, once I look at my little recipe here, that whatever you look at and you think, God, there's a lot of those. I wonder why those are favored above others, why others are suppressed to make it look like something else just rose to the top. So you think, I'm sure there's nothing wrong with Toyota, as far as I know, but maybe there's a little bit more to it. Maybe whoever's here really wants to make sure that this is known. So Toyota adds up to 96. More sixes, right? They just fit right in. I'd say it was suspicious, but maybe I'm just crazy. And then you think, I always see these trucks everywhere, and if you're from a heavier urban area, you're probably not going to see many trucks, but they've sold more of these Ford trucks than almost anything else in history. And which truck in particular? This is what's suspicious. It's the F-150, and you think, that doesn't really sound catchy, right? It doesn't sound like a Citadel or Hero. It's just not a very catchy word. Well, it's not a word. It's numbers and letters. So you think, maybe there's more to it. And obviously this is, but in any case, F is the sixth letter. 15, or the 1 and the 5, 1 plus 5 is 6. And O, since they don't count the 0 in this world, 0 doesn't have any value, so it must mean something, in which case it's the letter O. So the letter O is the 15th letter, when 1 plus 5 is 6. So the F is the 6, the 1 plus 5 is the 6, and the O is the O. O. And you think, oh, just like everything else here, that the F-150, the #1 selling vehicle since before I was born to today, trucks that are everywhere. They never change their name, so it's not evolving. The trucks are evolving, but the name stays the same because it's a little more important than you think. They're going to make sure that it's everywhere, right? It's just everywhere. Just like the term 24/7. 24/7, because these sons of bitches here, they read from the right. You and I, most of us read from the left, right? Read from the left. These people, God knows what they are. 24/7. So you add up the numbers starting from the other side. So 7 plus 4 is 11. So when you hear the term 24/7, which kind of applies to all the time, forever, 11 is the first thing you're really supposed to be saying. So it doesn't matter if you want to exit or stay. It's just 11s. And then you think, here we are, this is what I probably should have started with first because it applies more to everyone sitting here listening, because I'm assuming that most people here have Wi-Fi, or in Europe they call it Wi-Fi, because it's common, there's a parallel. Even though, because I just looked it up, I thought beforehand, even though I was onto this quite a while ago, I thought that it actually stood for something, but it doesn't. It actually doesn't. That's a little bit of a misnomer, or a false belief. But anyway, Wi-Fi, W-I-F-I, because everywhere you go, right, we have Wi-Fi. In the planes, they're getting in the cars, they're going to have it, they're going to make sure that it's everywhere, just like this video. So if I was going to be naming this video after something, it would be that the Wi-Fi is the new language, the new air we breathe, the new everything. It's everything, it's everywhere, it's how we're doing everything. So let's look at it from the right. The letter I is the 9th letter. F is the 6th letter. And then we're back to the other I, which is still 9, just like the other one. So it's 969, which is really not that complicated of a code version of 666. And you think, wow, is that ever weird, right? Is that ever weird how they're going to make sure that no matter where you go, in your favorite restaurant, in your airplane, in your car, in your home, in your schools, in your hospitals, in everywhere, there's going to be this new air we breathe of 666. And you can go and type on your little fucking computer what Wi-Fi stands for, and you'll find out it doesn't stand for anything. But it kinda does, right? Are we big adults yet? We able to think? Are we able to think about something? Because it's not really that weird. It's kind of pretty fucking simple, right? It's right there in your face. Wi-Fi, Wi-Fi, give your fucking head a shake, right? And what is it that, where is it that you go with the Wi-Fi, the Wi-Fi? Where is it you go? You go to the World Wide Web, which I thought was very interesting when I heard lately that www, which is the only thing that's not affected by this reverse mirror that we're in here. Anyway, www, which is not true. It's W, it isn't. It's a double V. So every time you see W, you really know that there's nothing, it's a double V, which is, if you look back, the origin of it. So every time you see W, it's 2 11s. So you look at www, which is the only thing you're doing with your Wi-Fi, your 666. So when you get into 666, you go and plug in, you hook up, you engage, and you get in here. It's World Wide Web. But the other day I heard it's the only acronym on Earth that takes longer to say than what it represents. Because www takes longer to say than World Wide Web. And you think, that's just gravy. That's just like icing in booby tassels. It just doesn't get any better, right? But let's look harder at www, because that's the 23rd letter. 23, 23, 23. Oh my god, what is 3 times 23? 69, dudes. Just like everything else here. Isn't that so tidy? Isn't that just sickeningly convenient? Like a little fucking 5-year-old could be listening to this, right? Parental discretion is advised. And when here's this is just going to go on top like a cherry. Because even though I've never done it, everybody likes texting, right? It's so nice. Now let's break down this, because this is, even though you go into www and you get in with your Wi-Fi and your Wi-Fi and you plug into the 666 world and you get right in there, the #1 language to talk with everybody else is texting. 25, 24, and 20 adds up to 69, dudes, right? What a fucking shocker. Just a mind bender, right? Wow, so it doesn't matter where you go. It's just all here. You got your Wi-Fi, 666. Wow, that's just so weird, right? Everywhere you go, you see this. And you know by looking it up, it's just an arbitrary term that means nothing. They might as well have called it making noises with your hand, making fart noises with your armpit. It's just, there's nothing there. Nothing. But it means something very, very important when you know to read from the right. WW, get right in there, 69, and you text with it's another 69. And there's nothing suspicious about this. There's no continuity. I'm just grasping at straws that aren't even there. And then you look a little further and you think, well, that's weird. Because Apple's obviously the Big Mac daddy, right? Mac, Apple, that was, oh, that's funny. And Apple does that up to 50, but you realize that 0 doesn't really add up to anything, so you never do that. Just like a cell phone adds up to 90, right? These things are important, right? Just like, because even though this is going to seem backwards, 6 and 9, you got your choice of what to turn the 0 into. 56 adds up to 11. That's why Apple's there. It's not really that suspicious. If you know what to look for and you know that there's only one way that anything can move forward in this world, and it's if you get down and you get down and buckle up, because the only way you get ahead is by kneeling, right? Cell phone, 90, 6 or 9. You can put whatever one you want in there, because that's your tool. That's your new saber, your shield, your life, your everything. You hear all the time people can't live without them for a minute, for something that didn't even exist a couple minutes ago. And of course Apple, what do they eat? They have the iPhone, the iPad, all these I's, because I is the letter 9. Right? Now they have iPad 6 or iPad, right? So that's 6 phone, right? WWW6. 6 is everywhere you go. You don't need to go over it. They're everywhere. If you can't find them, you're not looking, right? iPhone, iPad, it's all right there. They're flaunting it, right? And what else have you got to look forward to? This is my favorite, because anywhere you go you see church, and I think I've seen this for a long time, because obviously it's irrelevant no matter how you look at it. Like it's a fucking joke. But anyway, the word church, which you know really doesn't mean anything. It's obviously where Christians go to do whatever they're doing. But anyway, C and H adds up to 11. Which I didn't think was that suspicious until you go all the way to the other end of the word and you see that C and H, which are 3 and 8, they add up to 11. So you think, well, that's really tidy. You're not going anywhere. Knowing that this is just made up. It's not like it's Winston Churchill's house. It's just a church. It means nothing. And now that the world's a shithole and we've got more than ever that you've ever seen of them, is the world getting any better? No, it's a fucking toilet. But don't think it's just like the Christians that are into this. You look at synagogue, right? Synagogue, assuming that you leave the 0 as a 0, adds up to 99. It has to. It has to. You look around at something and think, oh, wait, what about that? Just go and take a minute. It has to. It has to. Just like mosque. Look at mosque. It adds up to 90. And then you just you take your 0 and you make it into a 6 or a 9. It has to. Mosque, synagogue, church. You realize... I realize that none of this is effective and I'm not going to get through to anybody. And right, piss down your back. Who fucking cares, right? And it's interesting, what gave way? What happened to everything? What was it that took over the churches? When was it when they could start letting go and making sure that the churches and the synagogues and the mosques, are all being corrupted and turned into a joke? What was it that gave way? What was it that took over? TV. Remember, read from the right. V is the 22nd letter. 1111. So in church, right, the old 1111 gave way. The only way you could hand the baton over is if it was to someone it could trust. Like TV. Right? And what's TV giving away to now? Wi-Fi. Right on cue. Pew. TV. 1111. Right? Doesn't matter what you look at. And this is probably the most important one, because the whole world, if you take probably a few hours and go look at what the United Nations and the entire world are about to do, Agenda 21, this took an extra minute, but I knew it had to fit because they used the number 21. If you look it up, it doesn't mean shit, right? It doesn't mean shit, just a big back scrape. So anyway, you look at, read from the right, 1, 2, and A is the letter. Number is a letter. It's the first one of the alphabet, if you're moderately familiar. 121, and in case you're not that sharp with your times tables, 11 times 11 is 121, 121. So Agenda 21, where the entire world is going, in case you haven't got a fucking clue about what's going on here, it's 1111, just like everything here. And I realized this wasn't very effective, and it was titled everywhere. Because if you can't find something that just fits in, because it fits tightly, there is no room, right? You're right here. And I'm going to keep this short. Like I said, bye.